Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Appear as you may wish to be. If an injury has to be done to a man, it should be so severe that his vengeance need not be feared. Wisdom consists of knowing how to distinguish the nature of trouble, and in choosing the lesser evil. Therefore, the best fortress is to be found in the love of the people, for although you may have fortresses, they will not save you if you are hated by the people. For one change always leaves a dovetail into which another will fit. The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps, and a lion to frighten wolves. Men should be either treated generously or destroyed, because they take revenge for slight injuries, for heavy ones they cannot. It must be considered that there is nothing more difficult to carry out, nor more doubtful of success, nor more dangerous to handle, than to initiate a new order of things. The best fortress which a prince can possess is the affection of his people. Men intrinsically do not trust new things that they have not experienced themselves. The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. Therefore, it is necessary to be a fox to discover the snares and a lion to terrify the wolves. Men are so simple and so much inclined to obey immediate needs that a deceiver will never lack victims for his deceptions. It is better to act and repent than not to act and regret. There is no other way to guard yourself against flattery than by making men understand that telling you the truth will not offend you. And it ought to be remembered that there is nothing more difficult to take in hand, more perilous to conduct, or more uncertain in its success, than to take the lead in the introduction of a new order of things. Never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception. There is no avoiding war. It can only be postponed to the advantage of your enemy. For he who innovates will have for his enemies all those who are well off under the existing order of things, and only lukewarm supporters in those who might be better off under the new. Never was anything great achieved without danger. My view is that it is desirable to be both loved and feared, but it is difficult to achieve both, and, if one of them has to be lacking, it is much safer to be feared than loved. Men in general judge more from appearances than from reality. All men have eyes, but few have the gift of penetration. I'm not interested in preserving the status quo. I want to overthrow it. He who builds on the people, builds on the mud. Nature creates few men brave, industry and training makes many. Everyone who wants to know what will happen ought to examine what has happened. Everything in this world in any epoch has their replicas in antiquity. It is double pleasure to deceive the deceiver. Men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear. One should never fall in the belief that you can find someone to pick you up. Men sooner forget the death of their father than the loss of their patrimony. He who is highly esteemed is not easily conspired against. The incredulity of mankind, who do not truly believe in anything new until they have had actual experience of it. For whoever believes that great advancement and new benefits make men forget old injuries is mistaken. The fact is that a man who wants to act virtuous in every way necessarily comes to grief among so many who are not virtuous. Men are so simple, and governed so absolutely by their present needs, that he who wishes to deceive will never fail in finding willing dupes. It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles. Where the willingness is great, the difficulties cannot be great. The vulgar crowd always is taken by appearances, and the world consists chiefly of the vulgar. Let no man, therefore, lose heart from thinking that he cannot do what others have done before him. For, as I said in my preface, men are born, and live, and die, always in accordance with the same rules. He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command. A man who is used to acting in one way never changes. He must come to ruin when the times, in changing, no longer are in harmony with his ways. There is nothing more important than appearing to be religious. Of mankind we may say in general they are fickle, hypocritical, and greedy of gain. Women are the most charitable creatures, and the most troublesome. He who shuns women passes up the trouble, but also the benefits. He who puts up with them gains the benefits, but also the trouble. As the saying goes, there's no honey without bees. Men never do good unless necessity drives them to it. But when they are free to choose and can do just as they please, confusion and disorder become rampant. There is no other way of guarding against adulation than to make people understand that they will not offend you by speaking the truth. On the other hand, when everyone feels at liberty to tell you the truth, they will be apt to be lacking in respect to you. Half of these aren't even Machiavelli. Some are Plato, Thucydides, etc. Doesn't anyone check these?